Hello, everyone. This is a new introduction to a new cooperative in Northern Ireland. It's part of our series, a new co-op on the block in 2025. I'm particularly happy to introduce this cooperative because it's the first cooperative in this very important year of for cooperatives, because it's the International Year of Cooperation. So Dialogue Practitioner Cooperative has been the first cooperative of 2025. So we are very, very happy to have here today David Holloway, that is one of the founder member of a Dialogue Practitioners Co-op. As usual, you are very familiar with the format of this new co-op on the block. It's a brief introduction from me, but very much it's about listening to David, that he will tell us their journey, and then some reflection and a close. Thank you very much. This is a brief introduction on my side, and what I wanted to tell you about this cooperative. This has been a transitioning cooperative from a charity that was existing with a very, very experienced practitioners in dialogue practice, and they transition from the charitable form into a workers' cooperative. That has been a journey that we've done together, and it will be very much interesting to hear also from David, from their perspective, what he worked well, what he didn't work well. So let us kind of stop share my slides. I just wanted to show you their beautiful logo, and that it's really, really colorful and really tells you the story of this cooperative. But I don't want to preempt anything. Here you are, me and David, in this conversation. Thank you very much, David, for coming, and thank you for accepting this brief interview on your cooperative. So tell us a bit more about why did you decide, what are the motivation for you to transition from a charity to a workers' co-op?
Well, Community Dialogue is the organization that has transitioned or is in the process of transitioning. We are in a charitable-based organization that emerged from the politico-sectarian conflict within Northern Ireland, bringing together, for want of a better word, peace builders and social justice activists from every side of the conflict, with a single purpose, and that being somehow to generate a shared, unifying, and peaceful vision of a better future for Northern Ireland, agreed by ordinary citizens from the grassroots, across all the divisions that were plaguing our society and fostering and sustaining conflict. And the mechanism that we were using to achieve this was a process of facilitated dialogue, which is a very, very different and structured way of having conversations about any contentious issue you could imagine that you would shy away from talking about with other people for fear of it ending up in a fight. And a facilitated dialogue turns what would be a fight over, you're right and I'm wrong, I believe this, you believe that, that's ridiculous, I'm stomping out of this room in a temper with my positions fundamentally, solidly reinforced by my experience of talking to you about this stuff. It transforms it into an experience of deepening shared understanding, awareness of shared need, and awareness of shared possibilities for a future together. So
I cannot even think a more appropriate methodology than today. I know that you said that you were born out of the Good Friday Agreement and the pre-Good Friday Agreement, but actually today, what you are describing is so useful and is so important. Is that the reason why you wanted to continue your work as practitioners?
Well, the funny thing is that whilst we emerged with a particular focus on the political and sectarian conflict in Northern Ireland, primarily between Catholic, Republican, nationalist, and loyalist, unionist Protestant people, um, the role of dialogue is relevant to absolutely every form
Yeah.
of marginalization, discrimination, social injustice, exclusion. Uh, it's relevant to homophobia, racism, etc., etc., etc. And the thing that we in Northern Ireland experienced emerging from decades of sectarian conflict was, as the violence eased off, the realization that hidden by the sectarian conflict was a whole world of other marginalization, exclusion, um, of a whole world of different ways of hurting other people because they're different. Gender relationships, sexual identity relationships, relationships between people of different ethnicities. And these started to well up. So our focus has gradually evolved as an organization. Both as the charitable organization and now today as the cooperative organization, we challenge all forms of intolerance, all forms of intolerance, with a view to building an agreed shared future that can accommodate the needs of people in all of their diversity.
Thank you very much. And why did you decide then to change from a charity to a cooperative? People will ask that.
Because of our experience as a charity, attempting to transform our entire society into one that's equal, equitable, shared, inclusive, uh, founded on social justice, participative, and sustainable. We have pretty much 30 years, 3 decades of experience of attempting to do this. And doing so within the systems and structures that are supposed to enable us. Support from government, support from independent funding providers has actually been an experience that leads me to feel, and well, all of my colleagues as well, to feel that the very systems and structures in society designed to enable and support charitable initiatives for positive social action seem somehow designed to ensure that our responses are localized to small areas, are short term and don't have time to develop and evolve, and are starved of funding in an increasingly competitive environment where partner organizations committed to positive social change are forced to compete against each other for ever diminishing slices of the pie.
Hmm.
So, um, my personal view is that the system is actually designed to ensure we never achieve the society-wide transformation that we eat, sleep, drink, and hunger for and need in order to make our place an acceptable place for our children to grow up and fulfill their fullest potential. So obstacles are placed in the way of us achieving what we want to achieve. And honestly, we ran out of steam fighting a never-ending, losing battle against the systems and structures. To be heard, to be acknowledged, to be supported, to be taken seriously, to have our recommendations acted upon.
Hmm.
This goes hand in hand with the reality that we're an aging organization, and we need to generate a new generation of positive social activists, of peace builders, of advocates for social justice for all. And the struggle to secure finance year on year on year has just been debilitating.
Mm.
So, way back in the early noughties, we had considered the idea of becoming a practitioners cooperative. But it never went anywhere at that time. I guess in one way, we had the energy to keep fighting. And in another way, as you'd be well aware, social activists are single-minded, opinionated, driven, have huge personalities. So our organization was riven with internal conflict, even as we endeavored to build peace around us. Because we all knew the best way to get things done, and those best ways all bounced off each other. But the interesting thing is, as a team of dialogue practitioners, we were able to manage our internal conflicts in a way that enabled ongoing progress and the survival of the organization in for, well, 27 going on 28 years now. So the thing that so in the last 2 years, we ran out of steam and decided to thrash about. What are we going to do? Are we going to give up because we're exhausted? We're running out of funding. We're old and tired. Nobody's listening. And we revisited the idea of the practitioners co-op. Why? Our internal research into it, we already knew the cooperative model more closely mirrors the underpinning ethics and values that inform our charitable organization. Equity, equality, participation. Everybody responsible to contribute equally. Everybody enabled to receive the same benefits as everybody else. A long list of tick boxes. Yes, 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 yes. And whilst Community Dialogue as a charity has always endeavoured to do what it says on the tin, to enact, to live the very future that we are hoping to create and encourage other people to participate in, the charitable system and the funders and the government's systems and structures necessitate adherence to particular models that make it impossible to be fully equitable, equal, inclusive, and sustainable. So informally, we're striving to be so, but on paper, there's all these rules and regulations, and I'm the director, and I earn a salary on a higher pay scale than the administrator, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
So
you wanted to leave something that was closer to your values and your principles, and you find that the cooperative could answer better. So a different structure. In some sort of way, it's that kind of transition of change, that change requires better structure, better systems. And cooperative may have been something that you wanted to explore. What are the good things that you find in your cooperative? You already talked quite a lot about the values and the principles, but governance-wise, how did you find your journey into a cooperative different from the governance point of view? Was it challenging itself to change that mindset from being a charity where you have a big division of functions and of duties and liabilities to a structure where everybody is sharing the risk as well as the rewards.
The journey, the transformation, the shifting from one set of systems and structures to another, all of it has been challenging. And in some cases, hard to get one's head around. So, if I just take myself as talk about my own personal experience, and we have 10 people have driven this process of transformation internally with incredible support from you throughout. And we couldn't have got here without you, and I want to acknowledge that very, very publicly. The process of transformation is both complex, challenging, and time-consuming, and expert external support and expertise was vital in order to achieve that. We wouldn't be where we are now without you, and you were the perfect person for it.
Okay.
So I'm the director in a hierarchical organization where everybody's voice is heard and listened to, and decisions are made in based on consensus as much as is possible. But nevertheless, it's still structured and hierarchical, and everybody has their roles. I tell people to do stuff. I have a set hours to deliver, set salary to receive based on those hours, and it's different from those of some of my colleagues. And suddenly we are transforming into a situation where I'm not the director anymore. In fact, during the process of transformation, I'm merely a volunteer member, becoming a formal founder member, then becoming a formal board member with an allocated short-term role as a chairperson for 3 months, and then it will flip, and somebody else will take on board. So we are shifting from vertical decision-making structures to horizontal decision-making structures that much more closely mirror the reality of facilitated dialogue, reaching agreement in practice, and consensus-based decision-making. But it means that things take longer because everybody has to agree.
Well,
and it means that things are more confusing because it's not as simple as me going away with a list of to-dos and getting them done and reporting back to the board at the next board meeting. The to-dos have to be allocated and divided up. So, and we're still struggling with this. We haven't got it 100%, but we're perhaps 80% in terms of sharing burdens equally. But it's meant an expansion of subgroups that we're not used to having. So 10 founder members, 9 board members, or 9 board members. And there are as many subgroups as there are.
yeah.
Policy, membership, program, finance, social media. It's working.
Yeah.
And in some ways, it's liberating because money is not part of the equation yet. We're all there driving this and seeing if we can make it succeed in a voluntary capacity, supported by community dialogue as a charitable organization. But this is during a transition period, 1 year from formal registration with the Financial Conduct Authority, April 2025. By April 2026, or by the following autumn at the latest, the organisation community dialogue will formally close down because its legacy and its ongoing vision, mission, and purpose is funneled through the Dialogue Practitioners Co-operative. We are the child of the parent, and the parent is going to cut us loose and let us run and retire into an old people's home.
And I think that you touch a really on some of the issue as well of the potential that the cooperative will have for you. It's about expanding your membership. It's expanding to different generation of membership. That can be challenging in itself, but I think that at the end of the day, the cooperative brings people together, and this is what you are going to concentrate, I guess, for the next few months. How difficult is it to attract people to the cooperative and to explain this new system that you have created? How difficult has been for you?
For us, attracting people's interest is not either difficult or challenging. We have, look, we have between all the players in community dialogue and in the dialogue practitioners cooperative, we have centuries and centuries of peace building and social activism experience shared between us. Everybody has between 20 and 40 years of experience at the cutting edge of peace building,
Yes.
both locally and internationally. So our collective web of contacts is quite genuinely thousands of people on the island of Ireland, within the United Kingdom, and internationally. Our challenge isn't to grow our membership. Our challenge is to manage how we grow our membership in a way that ensures that every new member has the same experience of participation, democratic decision-making, responsibility, and benefit as the founder members. And we're still working through this, Tiziana. And as you know, we have formally approved a membership policy. And having only just approved it, we are now redrafting it again to create another tier of membership because of the fear, the concern of our capacity to manage growing numbers of facilitator, co-facilitator members coming in and expecting remuneration for lots of opportunities to facilitate the dialogues. We fear that we can't manage everybody at once. So an additional tier of members who don't have to make a financial contribution and therefore do not have a financial expectation necessarily, but have experience and interest and seek connection, engagement, networking, the opportunity to explore possibilities, and
also learn from you guys. I think that you have a wealth of knowledge, and I think this is a nice approach. It's a gradual approach how to share the skills. I mean, cooperatives are about also sharing skills and sharing what the knowledge you have. You have a wealth of that. I think that it's important to think that cooperative they are not born as a cooperative, perfect cooperative. There is a journey. So that redrafting and reviewing and re-examining how you work with each other, I think that is a very healthy way to build your cooperative, because you really question constantly, what am I? What is my role in relation to the cooperative? What is my role in relation to the other members? And it's a very healthy way to look at it.
100%, Tiziana. As in life, so in cooperatives, the journey is never done.
Yeah.
The learning is never complete.
Yeah.
There are still mistakes to be made.
Plenty.
Incredible achievements to experience.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing process. The day that the Dialogue Practitioners Cooperative is complete, is established, is secure, knows everything about everything, and doesn't need to change or adapt or evolve or think twice, it's dead. The day you stop learning, the day you stop growing in response to the mistakes you make, is the day you need to start thinking about making an appointment for some sort of counseling therapy. So,
You're
so
crazy.
So we
Yes,
it's
yeah,
it's it's
I
never
tell
going to
you.
be finished, and it's a wee bit more complicated at the moment
Yeah,
because we're still juggling with big issues. We could have 100 members by the end of the year
yeah, yeah,
easily, but we cannot cope with 100 members by the end of the year. So our current thinking is that the existing body of member dialogue facilitators and specialists is
yeah,
the core membership, with the exception that there are a very small number of colleagues who have expressed an interest who are likely to be brought in over the next few months. But beyond that, we will probably focus on establishing how those co-facilitators and specialists work together in managing this conflict for the mutual benefit of society and ourselves, at the
that's
same
perfect.
time as slowly and carefully expanding another tier of membership that will regularly engage, probably online, but also in room, in issue-based dialogue, in networking, sharing, strategic planning, so on and so forth, a learning a mutual learning resource. And it's not just them learning from us, it's us learning from them.
Well, I have to say thank you very much for your time, David. Thank you for talking so clearly and honestly about your journey. And certainly, from my point of view, I'm looking forward to work with your cooperative because your learning can bring quite a lot of wealth to the cooperative movement in Northern Ireland. I think that what you have experienced in conflict resolution, in peacemaking, is so important to grow our cooperative movement here locally with the right roots. So, David, I'm excited that you are part of our ecosystem. I'm really excited and I welcome you. And I hope that we can really build up our relationship, cooperative relationship between all the cooperative in Northern Ireland. So we are really welcoming you, and we know that we will learn. I think that we talked for what we wanted to talk about. Do you want to add anything else? The final reflections for the day for anybody that maybe is thinking about cooperatives in the future?
Um, I would just say that genuinely, from my heart, the idea of becoming a peace building cooperative excites me, reignites my vision
Yeah,
of a better place in a context that the context we work in exhausts us. And it's hard to keep the vision fresh. It's hard to stay hopeful. But since we started, all of us, on this journey about a year ago, a year and a month ago, um, we are, our vision, our energy, our conviction, it's all been refreshed and reignited. So there's something very exciting about it. And it's a lovely feeling. To believe, hopefully correctly, that we are now actually stepping out of the established system and working to challenge it without the constraints it imposes on us. There's a liberating feeling about that, and a sense that for the first time in its history, community dialogue is now absolutely 100% doing what it says on the tin, right down to the most practical things like, for example, if we ever manage to secure funding for roles, and for argument's sake, um, I became the director, uh, and you were brought in as the administrator or the communications officer. Uh, our rules are such that you and I and the office cleaner receive exactly the same hourly rate in every circumstance. There is no distinction anymore. We are directly challenging market capitalism that underpins so much that makes our society toxic and painful to be part of. So we earn exactly the same, or we don't earn anything at all. And the only way you can earn more than me is if you do more hours than me. And I am genuinely excited at the idea and the possibility and the reality of that. Um, Really, really working at getting towards what equality and equity actually means. We're doing this now, and it feels good. It feels empowering. Hugely financially unsecure, of course, but for every wonderful thing that you hope to achieve, you always have to pay a price. So at some point in the lives of people, you reach a decision. Uh, I can continue as I am. I can bear this. I can put up with it. Or enough's enough. Time for change. For us, enough's enough. No more. Time for change. This time next year, I will possibly be officially unemployed and will not have a regular income. And that may be the price I'm paying to feel that I'm part of something bigger and better and more beautiful.
Thank you very much. And we leave it here.
Yeah.
But David, if people wanted to contact you, they will be able to do so through the Community Dialogue website for the time being.
Community Dialogue website, we have just set up our holding page for the Dialogue Practitioners Cooperative. It's www.dialoguecoop.org.
Yeah.
And my email, david@communitydialogue.org or david@dialoguecoop.org.
And David, do you have any events coming up? Just in case people there is an official launch in September, so keep an eye for the dates.
Official launch 2nd of September.
Very good. Thank you very much. And we will try to involve more people in this beautiful cooperative of yours. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
giving me
you,
your time.
Titsina. Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Yeah.